Okay, welcome to part 3 of this tutorial. I'm going to now show how to link up the bones in this Flash CS4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with get the bone tool. Before I start though, what you need to do is you need to arrange the parts to the proper positions before you link everything up. If I double click on this movie clip, and I actually have a layer up here called tracer, and I'm just going to move that over so you can see it. That's just what I've used to trace. That's actually my Photoshop file flattened so I can see it. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and hide that layer so we can't see it anymore, and we're going to start linking up the bones. So every character needs to have a center point, and the center point needs to be right here on a human. I've kind of tried it a million different ways. I'm pretty sure this is the right way. We'll find out in a while, but because I haven't gone all the way through this, but I think I know where we're going. So I'm going to go ahead and get the bone tool and or the click of the X on the keyboard, either one. I'm going to click on the movie clip on one movie clip, and I'm going to click to the other. Now, wherever you click on both movie clips, that will become the pivot point. Um, so I'm going to go ahead. I want his body to pivot right at the waist, so I'm just going to drop it there, and I'm dropping it on the torso. Okay, I accidentally dropped it on this piece because it kind of overlaps, so I'm going to undo that and try again. Maybe up a little higher this time. Okay, that time it worked. So now I've linked the center point of this character to the torso movie clip. Now I need to link it to the black dots. Where did the black dot go? Well, as soon as you link two movie clips, it creates a new armature layer, and all the parts that I had are on the layer below. So I'm just going to select that layer and drag it above the armature so I can see my parts again. And then you can see that they're on top of the armature layer. The armature layer is kind of like a group that contains all the parts of the skeleton. Now, I don't know what that is. That shouldn't be there. Um, Basically, now I'm going to go, how do I get my skeleton back? It's gone. What do I do? That took me a while to figure out. Well, you just select the bone tool. It's still not there. You just have to click and it shows up. You just click on one of the movie clips that has the skeleton, and it goes ahead and links up again. So now what I'm going to do is link the pivot point of the torso to the shoulders anchor. And so all I do is I click on it and drag up to this little black movie clip, which I'm going to use the anchor and let go. And now if I go to the arrow tool and rotate, you can see it's starting to look pretty cool. It's starting to work. I'm going to hit undo to get it straight again because I played around with it. And this is really important right here. Notice that when I was rotating it, I don't want it to rotate quite that way. It kind of breaks his back. I'm going to hit undo here. So what I want to do is for the segment, I need to make it so this doesn't pivot. I don't want this to pivot. I want this one to pivot, but I do not want this one to pivot. So what I do is I select the one that has the pivot point that I want to change, and over here it says joint rotation. This is the properties palette. I'm just going to turn that off. And then I'm going to zoom out again. And now when I rotate, it's only rotating at that other point. This pivot point down here is no longer rotatable. Is rotatable a word? I don't know. But see how that works? Kind of looks like he's wearing a tie. So anyway, I'm going to undo to get back where I was, so the body is in still the right position. I'm going to double check and make sure. The reason I'm having a hard time clicking is because these other movie clips are in front. Okay, I was able to select it there. I just wanted to make sure that rotation was still disabled. I didn't want to undo that, and it's still correct. So now I'm going to move on, and I'm going to hook on the arms. Go back to the bone tool, and I'm going to click and drag from this joint over to the arm. And again, wherever you click and drag to, that becomes the pivot, so be very careful. It is a royal pain to move these pivot points around once you've done them. At least I haven't found a way. In help it tells you to do it a certain way, but it just doesn't work. And I know I'm doing something wrong, but it just hasn't been working for me. So make sure that the body parts are all in the right place. I just hit undo so I can do it again here. And just make sure you drag it where you're sure that little ball and socket joint is. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that there. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag again to the other shoulder. And okay, see, I was a little off there. I want to undo that and I want to do it again. You just drag again. I want to make sure it's in the right place. And it looks like one of his shoulders is lower than the other, but that'll have to do. So now I've linked up the part of his torso. Now I don't want to link a bunch of other stuff yet until I'm sure this is what I want. So I'm going to go up to the arrow tool. I'm going to do a save as so I can get to this spot again. CP3 with skeleton. I'm just going to add a 2 to that. Okay, so that way we can revert back to this spot. So now I've got the arrow tool, and now I'm going to drag and just see what happens. Cool, it's starting to work. Let me drag an arm and see what happens. Okay, there's something screwed up there. I don't want that to happen at all. I mean, it's pivoting like it's supposed to, but you know, that's kind of sort of, today's Halloween, it's kind of spooky. Don't want that to happen. So what I need to do again is go back and click on any of these right here because they're all connected, and I want to make this so it doesn't pivot. I don't need this one to pivot. These need to pivot, but this one and this one do not need to pivot. These are kind of anchor points that I made. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and over here under joint rotation I'm going to turn off enable. So now let me check this. Perfect. I can move his arm, but it doesn't move his whole body. And not only that, but I can move his body and his arm moves with it. We're starting to get an animatable character here. Don't worry about the layering. Inside the armature layer you can move to front and move to back all you want. You don't need to worry about that right now. That was something I wondered about while I was working on is how am I going to do this? You can worry about layering later. Don't even worry about it. So in the next segment we're going to continue and see how far we can get on his arms and maybe other parts of his body.